As the night finally settles over the African wilderness, the silence returns. But this time it feels different. It is no longer the threatening quiet that warned of danger. It is the kind of stillness that follows survival, the calm that comes only after the wild has tested its limits and stepped back. The woman remains standing outside her cabin for a moment longer. Her body is exhausted, her muscles tight from holding control when instinct begged her to flee. The knife in her hand feels heavier now, not because of fear, but because of what it represents. It is not a weapon of victory. It is proof of restraint, awareness, and respect for a world that does not forgive mistakes easily. Out here, survival is never about dominance. It is about understanding. The animals did not attack out of cruelty. The lion did not appear out of malice. The mongooses did not surround her out of chaos alone. Every movement had a reason. Every sound carried meaning. The wild does not act randomly, it reacts. And tonight, it reacted to her presence. She had stepped into a moment where boundaries blurred, where human and animal worlds briefly overlapped. In that fragile space, panic would have been fatal. Aggression would have invited disaster. Only calm, patience, and respect kept the balance intact. As she lowers her hand and steps back toward the cabin, the wilderness seems to watch, not as an enemy, but as an observer. The lion remains at a distance, not retreating in fear, not advancing in threat. Its stillness speaks louder than any roar. This is not surrender. This is acknowledgement. The mongooses have vanished into the grass, their energy spent, their purpose fulfilled. They were never villains in this story. They were catalysts, small lives capable of triggering enormous consequences. In nature, even the smallest presence can change everything. Inside the cabin, the woman finally allows herself to breathe. The wooden walls creak softly as the night wind passes over them. Tools and supplies hang exactly where she left them. Nothing inside has changed, but she has. Survival leaves marks that are not always visible. She understands now that living in the wild is not about conquering fear. It is about coexisting with it. Fear sharpens awareness. Fear keeps the senses alive. Without it, survival becomes arrogance, and arrogance has no place here. Tomorrow, the sun will rise again. Birds will return. Insects will fill the air with sound. The land will pretend nothing happened. The wild always does. But she will remember. She will remember how silence can scream louder than noise, how stillness can hide movement, how strength does not always look like force, and courage does not always look like action. She did not win because she fought. She survived because she understood when not to. Out here, stories are not written by heroes or villains. They are written by moments, brief, fragile moments where choices matter more than strength. Tonight was one of those moments, and the wild noticed. Somewhere beyond the trees, the lion moves on. It will hunt. It will survive. Its life continues, untouched by human drama. that too is part of the lesson. Nature does not remember us the way we remember it. We are visitors, temporary, replaceable. The woman knows this as she secures the cabin door and prepares for rest. There is no celebration, no triumph, only gratitude. Gratitude for awareness, gratitude for restraint, gratitude for another night lived, not taken for granted. This is what survival truly looks like. Not chaos, not domination, but balance. And in a world where the wild still holds its ground, balance is the greatest victory a human can ever achieve. As the forest slowly returned to silence, the woman stood still, listening. The wind moved through the trees once more. Birds cautiously returned to the canopy, and the ground, scarred by conflict, began to breathe again. What moments ago felt like certain death had passed, leaving behind only exhaustion, adrenaline, and the heavy weight of survival. She did not celebrate. Survival in the wild is never a victory parade. It is a quiet understanding, an understanding that nature does not choose heroes, only those who endure. Every step she took away from the clearing was measured, her senses still sharp, her awareness unbroken. The animals had vanished, but their presence lingered, reminding her that the wild never truly leaves. Back at the cabin, the fire was low, its embers glowing like watchful eyes in the dark. She cleaned her wounds, rested her hands, and allowed herself one long breath, not of relief, but of respect. Respect for the land that tested her, respect for the creatures that challenged her, and respect for the fragile line between fear and courage. This was not a story of domination over nature. It was a story of balance, of understanding when to stand, when to fight, and when to remain still. The wild had spoken, and she had listened. As night settled over the African landscape, one truth remained clear. Survival is not about strength alone. It is about awareness, restraint, and the courage to face the unknown without losing yourself to it. And somewhere beyond the darkness, the wild watched back, silent, patient, and eternal.